Hi everyone, welcome to another Heroes of the Good Ranger video. Today I'm going to be talking about the next member of my Ranger team that I created, that I used this last time, and that will be Izzy Garcia, the Dino Fury Green Ranger. Izzy is, as mentioned, she's a Dino Fury Ranger, and when they introduced her, they introduced a concept called Dino Key. Well, they introduced Dino Keys. So basically, the Dino Fury Rangers, I mean, so far she's the only one, and I'm willing to bet we'll get at least one, maybe two more in the final Kickstarter, because there's really no point in introducing this Dino Key system if they don't. But the idea is that the Dino Fury Rangers only have 4 exclusive cards for each Ranger, and then the rest of their deck consists of you can mix and match from the Dino Key options, any Dino Key cards that have been released in the game. So Izzy's, she only has, like I said, 4 unique cards in her deck, 3 3-shield cards and 3 1-shield cards. However, since that doesn't make a full 10-card combo deck, she needs to add the Dino. She needs to add Dino Key cards to her deck, and when she does that, since there's only been 2 released, both of those Dino Keys have 2 shields for defense. So as a complete deck for Izzy will consist of 3 3-shield cards, 3 1-shield cards, and 4 2-shield cards. Just like most Rangers, I just need to point that out because, like I said, she only has 4 exclusive cards, and we'll jump into those first. Well, actually, before we do that, let's talk about her character ability, which is Eye of the Tiger. It says, once per battle during any Ranger turn, you may use this ability instead of playing a card. Perform an attack with a number of dice equal to the number of Chroma Fury icons in your hand. Then shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 2 cards. Now, I'm not sure if this is a Dino Fury thing or if this is just Izzy specifically, but her playstyle also revolves around the Chroma Fury icons, and thankfully they put the little picture you can see right here, so you know what a Chroma Fury icon looks like, and a few of her cards work with those. So with this, again, this is instead of playing a card, so this will use up your Ranger turn if you use this ability. And depending on how many Chroma Fury cards, you could roll maybe like 5, 6 dice if you have enough in your hand. But then you have to shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 2 cards. Kind of similar to Trini's Havoc Laser in the last video I did. It's just to shuffle her hand back into her deck after playing it. But at least Izzy allows you to draw 2 cards, so you're not completely out of the game. You don't just have to take damage for the rest of the battle. I said game, but I mean just battle. But yeah, she can still stay in the battle, draw 2 more cards, keep on going. Now let's move on to the first of her unique cards, which is Jade Javelin. It's a 1-cost, 2-dice attack with 1 shield for defense. Its ability says you may ignore the guard keyword when choosing a target for this attack. Reveal 1 card from your hand and add 1 die to this attack for each Chroma Fury icon on that card. So at first you see this, and it's 1 energy for only 2 dice, which is kind of below the average. But it does let you ignore the guard keyword, and because of its ability, if you have 2 or 3 Chroma Fury icons in your hand, you could be rolling 4 or 5 dice with this and actually go above average for the cost you pay. It's a really good card. Again, it's just dependent on, you really don't want this card to be the last card in your hand, because unless you really have no choice and you just want to ignore something that's attack something that's being guarded, because you're only rolling 2 dice for 1 energy. But hey, if you have to, you have to, and being able to ignore the guard keyword is always awesome. Moving on to our next unique card, that is going to be Mold Breaker. It's a 0-cost maneuver card with 3 shields for defense. Its ability says gain 1 energy. Any ranger may discard a maneuver or reaction card to perform an attack with 2 dice. If that card has a star ability or a Chroma Fury icon, add 2 dice to that attack. So if nothing else, you get to gain an energy for playing this card. You don't have to do the other effects, the other effect of the rest of this card's ability if you don't want to. If you just want to gain an energy, just play Mold Breaker, and that's pretty much it. But anyway, you obviously would want to use the rest of this ability. Remember, any ranger you can discard the card, a maneuver or reaction, or it could be any other ranger. But it has to be a maneuver or reaction. It can't be an attack card. It's kind of funny because you discard a maneuver or reaction, but you perform an attack. This is one of the cards that allows you to perform an attack without playing an attack card. And you get to add 2 dice to that attack, or playing with Izzy, you can discard another Mold Breaker in your hand, because it has, well, actually you wouldn't want to, it doesn't have a Chroma Fury icon, but you're playing with one of Izzy's cards that does have a Chroma Fury icon. You can discard one of those to add 2 dice to the attack as well, because sometimes those icons or star abilities just aren't really The star abilities, especially if they're in your hand, they're not doing you any good. You're not going to get those star abilities. So her next unique card is Chroma Fury Saber. It's a 0 cost, 3 damage attack card with 1 shield for defense. And it has 2 Chroma Fury icons on it. There's nothing like unique about, special about this card in terms of its ability. Those Chroma Fury icons don't indicate some sort of hidden special ability. They're just there for cards like Mold Breaker or Jade Javelin. But an automatic 3 damage for 0 cost, if you don't want to take advantage of the Chroma Fury icon, this is a very powerful card. This can take out most foot soldiers, potentially even a low health enemy card. There are a select few in the game that have only 3 health. Yeah, if you can get rid of an enemy card, especially with this, it's great. It's guaranteed damage. It does. Unfortunately, you can't choose an enemy card that's being guarded, but small price to pay because you're not really paying anything for this card. And if this is the last card in your hand, then that's great. Let's say you want to keep this in your hand. Maybe if you only have this and Jade Javelin in your hand, you'll play Jade Javelin one turn, and then you'll play Chroma Fury Saber the next one. Deal some potentially great damage. And finally, let's move on to her power weapon. Well, I say power weapon, but it's more of an attack. The Tiger Fury Strike. It's a 3 cost, 4 dice attack with 3 shields for defense. Its ability says, after you resolve this attack, perform an additional attack with a number of dice equal to the number of Chroma Fury icons in your hand. So, it's an automatic, it's 4 dice attack, it's kind of like Billy's Power Lance. Anyway, after you resolve this attack, you perform an additional attack, and if you have Chroma Fury Saber, let's say if that was the only card in your hand that had a Chroma Fury icon, you can perform a second attack with 2 dice. Now remember, this is a second attack. This is not like Tommy's Dragon Dagger, where it's the same attack twice. So if you add 2 dice, let's say to Tiger Fury Strike with the Tyrannosaurus, that second attack that you perform will still only be 2 dice. If all you had was 2 Chroma Fury icons in your hand, you could add additional dice to that second attack, but so you couldn't use the Tyrannosaurus again if you used it for the first attack. So yeah, it's a really good card. I like the picture on it, kind of cool. And that covers all of Izzy's unique cards. Now you might have noticed she actually, in terms of her character-specific cards, she only has one that actually has Chroma Fury icons on it. The remainder come from the Dino key cards. And since there have only been 2 released, they have to go into Izzy's deck for the time being until more cards are released with it. So we'll cover the 2 that have been released. The first is Sprint Dino Key. It's a 1 cost reaction card with 2 shields for defense. Its ability says, play this card at the start of a battle. The Rangers may ignore the fast keyword to take the first turn in battle. And it also has a Chroma Fury icon. This is actually a really good card. For only 1 cost, you can take the first turn. You don't have to worry about the fast keyword. The Rangers won't have to lose their turn. It can be critical in a monster or boss fight especially. Again, it has the Chroma Fury icon. Unfortunately, if you do need to play this card to ignore the fast keyword, you won't be able to take advantage of its Chroma Fury icon because you'll have to play this first as a reaction and then play whatever card you want to play for the actual Ranger turn. And you won't have this in your hand anymore because you played it to skip the fast keyword. But hey, still really good. It's a small price to pay, and if you don't need or want to ignore the fast keyword, you can still keep it, take advantage of it for Tiger Fury Strike, Mold Breaker, or Jade Javelin. Any of those would be great to make use of it. The second Dino Key card, second and last Dino Key card that they've released so far is Muscle Dino Key. It's a 0 cost reaction card with 2 shields for defense. Its ability says, play this card when any ranger performs an attack. Add 1 die to that attack. Since Muscle Dino Key can add die to any ranger attack, it's a great teamwork card to use. Tiger Fury Strike also lets you keep it if you have it in your hand, you can reveal it. And Jade Javelin also makes use of it too. The Sprint and Muscle Dino Keys, they're very basic kind of cards with basic abilities, but sometimes simple and basic is what you need to get through the game. And they work well with the Chroma Fury strategy that Izzy has. Next, we'll talk about Izzy's Zord, which is the Tiger Claw Zord. Its ability says, exhaust this card after any ranger performs an attack. During the next ranger turn in this battle, instead of playing a card, you may perform an attack with half that many dice, rounded down. Basically, it's a second attack that you can perform, almost kind of like an extension of her Tiger Fury Strike. Except, I think it's kind of odd that it doesn't take advantage of Chroma Fury icons, but then again, who knows? Maybe if there are any more Dino Fury Rangers released, then maybe their Zords will take advantage of the Chroma Fury icons. And I say it's kind of an extension only because this card basically takes up your next Ranger turn. You exhaust it after a Ranger performs an attack. Then during the next Ranger turn, instead of playing a card, you perform an attack with half that many dice. So this is one of those Zord cards that does not work around the guard keyword because you are performing an attack. So you can't target anything that's being guarded. The plus side though is that since you are performing an attack, any cards that add dice to an attack or add damage to an attack, things like that, you can take advantage of those and add them in. Of course, I mean you have to only play half the roll half the dice that you did. If you use J Javelin, use its ability to roll 4 dice, then the next turn you're only rolling 2 dice. Again, you can add dice to it with maybe Muscle Dino Key or the Tyrannosaurus, maybe something like that. But if you play the last card in your hand, then you use Tiger Claw Zord, I mean it's another attack you can perform. So if you're by yourself and you're out of cards, this is an extra attack you can do. I think it's a little more limited than a lot of Zords, but it's still not bad. But moving on to Izzy's deck breakdown. Right now, since she has to use the Sprint and Dino Muscle keys, her deck consists of 2 copies of Mold Breaker, 2 copies of Sprint Dino Key, 2 copies of Muscle Dino Key, 2 copies of Jade Javelin, 1 copy of Chroma Fury Saber, and 1 copy of Tiger Fury Strike. I mean, it's very disappointing that the game's going to be ending so soon because I was really excited to see how the rest of the Dino Fury team played out. Again, now they may announce a couple more, or maybe even the entire team as part of like stretch goals, maybe something like that. That might be part of it. But the way they talked about it in one of the live Q&A sessions, they really seemed like they had a lot of ideas for Dino Fury. So I've been expecting them for the past year. So hopefully at least they'll get a few more out. Because otherwise, like I said, what's the point of the Chroma Fury system? If the Dino Key system, I should say, and even the Chroma Fury, because I don't know. I seriously doubt that's an Izzy exclusive ability, or a strategy, but you never know. Like I said, Izzy is someone who takes advantage of Chroma Fury icons, and I mean, she kind of also does. She's kind of a mix and match of a lot of things. I guess you could say she perform between her power weapon and her Zord. She kind of performs multiple attacks. She likes to add dice. Her Jade Javelin adds dice because of the Chroma Fury. So does Mold Breaker. I mean, her Zord takes away dice, but I mean, the Muscle Dino Key adds another one. But yeah, she's kind of a Chroma Fury / dice strategist. You have to think ahead as to how you want to play the cards in Izzy's hand that you draw. But yeah, she's pretty cool, and I'll cover her a little more in terms of how I used her when I get to the rest of the team. There's one more to go, and then I'll cover the team as a whole. So in the meantime, head on over to OnceRanger.com, check out the full card database, and affiliate links will be provided below. Thank you.